Welcome patrons! It's been a while since the last theory video, so let's do one of those. A while ago I got a PM from Reddit user Words Are Functioning about a small fan theory that they have. They tell me that they don't actually believe it, but I find it too fun to ignore, so don thy tinfoil hats guys and let's get into it. The theory. Hawk is related to Corypheus. God, I love it when theories can be summed up in one sentence. But to explain on this specifically, the Amell family line is related to Corypheus, so in this theory, the human mage warden would also be descended from Corypheus. The evidence. Reddit user Words Are Functioning starts out that they have zero proof for the theory, and after some digging, I have a little as well, but they do give these reasons for the theory. Hawk's mother, Leandra, mentions that the Amell family line has magic in their blood, so having a well-known mage in their family wouldn't be unheard of. Corypheus' real name, as we learn from Dorian, is Amladaris, and user Words Are Functioning theorizes that there isn't really a large leap between the names Amladaris and Amell. As a quick pause, and because I know some of you may be thinking it, is there any connection to the two names in general? The answer is no. Amladaris as a word was made for the Dragon Age universe, and although Tevinter names and language are highly based in Latin language, there isn't an obvious word that it's referencing here. Amell isn't much better, as I get about two different possibilities with what they mean. One has something to do with eagles, which I'm not sure how trustworthy that is, and the other states that it's the bastardization of the Gaelic name Amell, which means active. I merely bring this up to be thorough because otherwise it's useless. Anyway, back to the theory. While the name of the DLC Legacy is in reference to the hook of the plot, in that your father was wrapped in whatever the Wardens were doing, what if it was also referencing to the fact that you are literally the legacy of Corypheus? Also, like I mentioned earlier, Kirkwall once belonged to Tevinter, and there is a theory that Kirkwall was actually the place where the veil was torn open. As Corypheus is also captured close to Kirkwall, it would make sense that he stayed around the place he once lived, and where his family probably still resides. Another thing that the Words Are Functioning brings up is that when the Wardens were searching for a mage to seal in Corypheus, they needed a mage with untainted blood, and they came looking for Malcolm Hawk. At the time, Malcolm Hawk was living in a bar, hiding out from the head of the Amell household because he had secretly married and knocked up Leandra Amell. The Wardens apparently heard of this and threatened the life of Leandra to get Malcolm to cooperate. So what does this have to do with the theory? Why would they seek out a mage that has so much to ask for them? Malcolm would later ask them for 25 gold pieces per seal, passage to Ferelden, and for the Grey Wardens to protect them from Leandra's father. That seems like a lot when they could have just gotten any mage recruit who has not taken the joining yet. Perhaps Malcolm's connection to Leandra and that the two had a child on the way connected them somehow, and that this, for some reason, allowed him to better create the wards for Corypheus. Or so they thought, as he would be able to weaken them in a short 25 years later. Or even perhaps that's what Corypheus wanted them to believe. Corypheus somehow was able to plant in the minds of the Wardens that they need to get someone connected to the Amells, which the closest thing would be Malcolm Hawk, to do the wards, that way he would be able to escape 25 years later. We've seen the world of Thedas has some strange birth magic going on, so I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that somehow when the two connect and have a child together, that the two somehow become spiritually connected as well, and that spiritual connection allowed Corypheus to be freed. My own support for this theory is a little bit more on the lines of this is possible because of these reasons, and less it's proven because of these reasons. We know that Corypheus did actually have a wife before opening the veil, and although it is possible that they had children together, it's not actually confirmed. And even if they didn't, the Amell line could be related through a cousin or a sibling that was in Kirkwall. As for the Amells, we don't actually know where the line came from, so it's possible that they have been Kirkwall for ages. Or they came from Tevinter. The rebuttal. User Words Are Functioning's PM made my job a lot easier because they came up with their own rebuttal, and for the most part revolves around this. If they took the time to set all of this up and that Hawk and the Warden Amell are related to Corypheus, how the hell are they going to reveal that? In a fair amount of world states, the only Amells alive are Gamlen and his daughter Charade, so it would be kind of shitty if our beloved player characters didn't get to find this out for themselves. And hasn't the time passed for them to do this? The perfect time would have been during the DLC itself and Dragon Age Inquisition at the latest, perhaps during the actual War Table mission where we find out his family, which I'll get to in a second. Words Are Functioning also mentions a lot of people would be against this, as one of the major draws to the Hawk character is that they're just some asshole. You're not marked or special in any way, you're just some dude who does your job well, and being related to Corypheus suddenly takes away from that. For me, probably the biggest rebuttal here is the War Table mission with finding Corypheus' true name. In it, after Dorian learns of the actual name, Sethius of House Amladaris, we learn that the house actually still exists in Tevinter. We can contact the house by either politely saying we know the truth or by blackmailing them, and either way, we get a response back. Irian of House Amladaris writes back that the family currently has no allegiance to Corypheus and vows to help the Inquisition. Josephine or Liliana also mentioned that the response by the house was so quick that it's likely they knew the information the entire time as well. If that family knows it, why doesn't the Amell line? And if the Amell line knows it, why didn't Hawke's mother say anything if she's alive? This is a major blow to the theory, as one of the assumptions is that the Amladaris line changed their name to Amell, perhaps after what Sethius has done. But we learn here that they have actually kept their family name. For this theory to hold true, the house would have to split into two now. So, in fairness, the current house of Amladaris is located in Tevinter. In this theory, the Amells have been in Kirkwall this entire time, so it's possible that the Kirkwall branch of the Amladaris changed their name to Amell, and the Tevinter branch stayed unchanged. And that, dear patrons, is all that I have regarding probably the most tinfoil theory I've covered right now. Anyway, thanks to Reddit user Wards Are Functioning for this, and in their own words, unbelievable but extremely fun fan theory. Do you still have lingering questions, proof that I'm wrong, comments about your own fan theory? Feel free to tweet me at Gilderthon on Twitter or send a PM to user Gillamnon on Reddit. Daras Shiral.